Masechta bava basra, daf lamed beis, amid aleph. We're starting from lamed aleph, amid beis, from 8 lines from the bottom, starting with the word the Mishnah, the Tanan, with the word the Tanan. We learned a machlekes between Rav and Rav Nachman, where each one said it was his father's, and he had the 3-year chazaka. One brought edis for both, the side that he had it for 3 years, and side that it belonged to his father, and one only had edis for the years of the chazaka. So the machlekes between Rav and Rav Nachman, we're going to go according to Rav Nachman. That Rav Nachman said that you cancel out the edus of the chazaka, and we're left with one who has additional edus for that it belonged to his father, and we give it to the person who has edus that it belongs to his father. But then the Gemara continues the story that later on the person who didn't have edus that it was his father brought edus. So Bezdin Rav Nachman Paskin, now we should take it out of the person who we gave it to originally, who was the only one who had edus that it belonged to his father. Now that the second party also brought edim that it belonged to his father, so we took it out of his reshus and we paskin called al gvar, and we weren't concerned for zilus de bezdin. We're not concerned for the bezoina bezdin. The bezdin first paskin one way and later on they paskin different, and the outcome might be people might laugh, and there'll be a zilza for the cover of the bezdin. So Rabbi had asked a shaila, but we find from from other people, from Tanoim, Rabbi Menachem, Rabbi Yossi, that he paskin that we have to be concerned about zilus of the Beit Dina. We have to be concerned of the bezaina bezdin. So Rabbi Nachman, and not only did Rabbi ask that question, but you had also Rabbi Amnuna ask from the same Braisa, and Rav Nachman said, yeah, he's going to retract from what he paskined, that whoever he had given it to originally, the one who had the originally edus that it belonged to his father before the second party brought the edim, and he paskined that it should go to him, we're not going to take it out of his rishus. But later on, he did take it out, and he says, and the ones that saw it thought he made a mistake. So the Gemara at the end of the daf, of yesterday's daf, explained, he said he didn't make a mistake. He says, because he was dependent on strong, thick rope that cannot be torn easily. On who did he depend on? Rabbi Yehuda, Rabbi Lazar, Rabbi Shimon Gamliel, that were not concerned of zilus of the Beit Dina. And now we're going to start bringing proof from these Tanoim that we're not concerned about zilus of the Beit Dina. It's not that we learned in the Mishnah. Rabbi Yehuda says, 1/8 is not enough to bring back a kohen to his status to be able to eat truma and to work in the Beis Hamikdash and to duchen. Rabbi Lazar said, a masai, when do we say that an 8 doesn't have the ability to bring back the kohen to his cheskes kashrus, that he should be able to do the avodah in the Beis Hamikdash? Only in a case where there are eidim, where two people come and testify that is a kohen pasul. But in a place where there are no eidim, then we could elevate the kohen back to his regular status to be able to do the service in the Beis Hamikdash. In the mashal, if there was a koil that went out that he was a pasul, a kohen, it's just a koil, so 1/8 could elevate him back to kashrus. Rabbi Shimon Gamliel said in the name of Rabbi Shimon ben Hasgan that we could elevate a kohen through 1/8. So the Gemara says, Rabbi Shimon Gamliel, Hainu Rabbi Lazar. Rabbi Shimon Gamliel must be, he holds like Rabbi Lazar. The Rashbam explains, because Rabbi Shimon Gamliel wouldn't argue that if there are eidim, 2 eidim, that are saying that he's pasul, and you have 1/8 that wants to be machsher, of course, we know Rabbi Shimon Gamliel wouldn't say we would trust the 8 against 2 eidim. So obviously, Rabbi Shimon Gamliel said, when can we elevate with 1/8? Only when there's a koil. So if it's only when it's a koil, Hainu Rabbi Lazar, this is mamish the same shita as Rabbi Lazar, the same thing as Rabbi Lazar. So what's the chiluk between Rabbi Lazar and Rabbi Shimon? And Reb Shimon ben Gamliel, and the V'chit, I even want to say, either the Chadik Benayu, that Eiridin doesn't mean two, it means even the one that came, if one came and said he's puzzle. So in this case, Rabbi Elazar Sava Irchad, even if one came and testified that it's puzzle, that's considered a ir, even though ir is Melashon Rabin. Like the lashon that we used was the B'matn Shein Eiridin. Eiridin is Melashon Rabin. Nevertheless, Rabbi Elazar holds ir is one person being ma'ared. If that's the union of Eiridin, that's what the term Eiridin means. And nevertheless, Rabbi Elazar holds that even 1/8 will be able to elevate him back to kashas. Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel Sabri ir trei. Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel says when we say that the klal that only b'makom sheyesh Eiridin, that's when aid cannot be mila to kahuna. Eiridin means either of two people. In fact, but if it's one, so then 1/8 could bring him up, elevate him to the regular kashas that he could do the avodah in the Beis Hamikdash. So the machlokes between Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel and Rabbi Elazar would be that Rabbi Elazar will hold if it was either the chad, it's in the ged of Eiridin, and nevertheless 1/8 could elevate him to kashas, even though the 1/8 came and testified that he's puzzle. And Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel says the only way that that 1/8 will not be able to testify, bring it back to kashas, is only, and the term of Eiridin means only if there are two Eiridin, and therefore Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel says that aid cannot bring him back to kahuna only when there is Eiridin. But if it's one aid testifying that it's possible, that's not Eiridin, and 1/8 could elevate him back to the Kedusha. That would be the machlokes. Like, how could you say that? When we say the lashon ir, it means two. So if it means two, so how could we, in such a case, we're not ma'il l'kun al piyei dachad. We're not ma'il l'kun al piyei dachad when there's b'makom sheyesh Eiridin. So the Kabbalah means dafka l'shnei Eiridim. So the Makasha comes back to its place. What's the chiluk between Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel and Rabbi Elazar? Says the Gemara la'arav trei. Again, so if Eid Echad HaMe'ara is not considered as an irur, so Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel and Rabbi Yechanan and Rabbi Elazar are both saying the same thing. 1/8 could bring him back to do the service, to bring him to full kashrus, so doing the service, taking truma, collecting truma, doing unduchening. I mean, they'll both hold the same thing because we're talking about 1/8. Says you want to know, Rabbi Elazar is dealing with a case where 2 Eidim came to be ma'ara. Well, Ma'askin over here, this is what it's talking about. It's talking about that we know for a fact that his father was a full-fledged kohen. So therefore, the father was a kosher kohen, or Mela, the son is a kosher kohen. But Shmuel went out, and it wasn't Eidah. So Shmuel went out and said, the Ben Gerusha Ben Chalutzu, that he's a son of a Ben Gerusha, which is forbidden to marry a kohen, or Ben Chalutza, which is forbidden to marry a kohen, and the son will be a chalul and be possible to do the avodah in Beis Hamikdash. And because of that Shmuel, they temporarily suspended him from doing the avodah in the Beis Hamikdash. And then Eid came, and he said, I know the kohen that he's a kohen. And then they re-elevated him back to the service of a regular kohen, because 1/8 is believed to be machshir against the kohen. And then another 2 Eidim came, the Ben Gerusha Chalutzu, that he's a Ben Gerusha Ben Chalutza. 2 Eidim came, Achtinei, and passled him. And then 1/8 came, the kohen, and said that he's a kohen. So now, what are we going to say? Obviously, Udekuli Alma, everybody agrees, mitzdarf, that the first Eid that said he was kosher before the 2 Eidim came and said that he's a Ben Gerusha Ben Chalutza, and then afterwards another 1/8 came and said that he's a kosher after the 2 Eidim said he's a Ben Gerusha Ben Chalutza, that we can combine those two as 2 Eidim. What are they arguing about? And over here, they're arguing if we should be concerned for the bezayin of Bezdin. Rabbi Lezer holds, since they demoted him and they removed him from the service, we're not going to now re-elevate him when the second aid came after the two aidim said he's a ben Gerusha ben Chalutza. Why? Because because we're concerned for that it's a bezayim for Bezdin that they made one psak that is a ben Gerusha ben Chalutza that he cannot do the Aveda, and now when another aid comes at the end and says he's a kasha aid, we're going to re-elevate him. So it looks like Bezdin is wishy-washy with the psakim. You're going to ask me, the Rashbam, his Bavan Zakasha, when there was a koil, he was demoted. And so he was demoted already in Bezdin. And then one aide came and elevated him, and we said, yeah, we could elevate him. Says the Rashbam, there was only temporarily. Temporarily, they demoted him. It wasn't a psak. It was just a suspension till we figure out what's going on. And then the aide came and said, no, he's kosher. But once two Eidim came and testified that he's a ben Gerusha ben Chalutza, that's a full psak that he can no more do the Aveda. And now, when the next aid came and you want to combine with the first aid, you want to re-elevate him, that's already changing the psak, which is a bezayin for Bezdin. Rabbi Shimon Gamliel argues, he says, we demoted him, and we could elevate him back to the regular service, to do the regular service in the Beis Hamikdash. And for Bezayin of Bezdin, we're not concerned. Rabashi is the kasha on this pirush that's how you're learning the machlokes between Rabbi Lezer and Rabbi Shimon Gamliel. So, if the reason of Rabbi Lezer is because we're concerned of that it's a Bezayin of Bezdin, why do you have to learn a case where there was only one aid that came at the end, and we're not going to elevate him to the kashus, to be a regular kohen because of zilus l'beidina. If it's zilus l'beidina, I feel a bit treinami. Even if two came at the end, we're still not going to elevate him to the regular service in the Beis Hamikdash because of zilus l'beidina. So why didn't he say bitrei? Obviously, if there would have been two, we would elevate him, and everybody does hold. Is not concerned. Only Ravashi says really everybody agrees we're not concerned of a bezayin that it'll look like a bezayin for Bezdin when they pass him one way and then they change the psak. The hacham is coming and here they're only arguing if you can combine the one aid that came before and said he's kosher before the two aidim said he's a ben Gerusha ben Chalutza together with the one aid that came after the two aidim saying that he's a ben Gerusha ben Chalutza, to combine those two aidim together or not. We put the high Tanoi and the arguing in the same machliks of these Tanoi that it says the Tanya we learned in Abraisa Oilam Ein Eiduson Mitzarefes Eidus are not combined till they both see the same story together. Meaning that if one testified, I saw how Reuven borrowed money from Shimon, and then second aid comes a second day and says, I heard that Reuven was made that he borrowed money from Shimon. So then, even though they're both saying Reuven is the borrower in both cases, and he owes the same $100, but it's not the aidus on the same incident. Rabbi Shimon Kocha says that the aidus will be mitzvah in such a case, even though it's not on the same incident. Even if one testified that there was Reuven borrowed money on Sunday, and a second aidus came and testified on money that Reuven borrowed from Shimon on Monday, still will combine the two aidim together that he owes $100, and the Rashbam brings down that the Gemara learns it out later on from either a drasha or from a svara. Now comes, this is the punchline. This is where we want to bring a raya that we're not concerned of zilus the beidina, and the whole machlekes is if you mitzvah of the edus or not. Ein edus miskayemes. So he brings down what does it mean ein edus miskayemes. It means that they both saw that they both testified. Reuven and Shimon testified about somebody, Levi borrowing from Yehuda. They both saw it together. Just one came testifying about the incident on Sunday, and the other came on Monday. So he said, even though they're testifying about the same incident, the same day, the same time, same date, but they're coming on different dates to testify, it's not a good testimony until they both testify together as one. And that's what the Tanna Kama holds. But Rabbi Nosson argues, he says, if they both testified of the same incident, and one testifies on one day and the next one testifies on the next day, even though it's on 2 different days, but it's still on the same testimony, the Eid is mitzvah. So this machlekes of Rabbi Nosson and Tanna Kama, we can say, is the machlekes of Rabbi Lezer, Rabbi Shimon Gamliel, in the Mishnah that we brought down before. That the Tanna Kama, that Rabbi Lezer will hold like the Tanna Kama, that the Eidos will not be combined until they testify together as one, and Rabbi Shimon Gamliel will hold like Rabbi Nosson, that even if they're not testifying together, we still combine the 2 Eidim. So there was a story where one said to his friend, what are you doing in this land? Amalei, the Machzik said, I bought it from you. And here's my star. Amalei. So the Ma'ar said to the one that's Machzik, he says, Shtar Zaifu. This star that you have is a false star. Gachin, he bent down, Lachish Leila Rabba, and he whispered into Rabba's ear, yes, Shtar Zaifu. This star is a Mezuyim Tika star. But I had a good star and I lost it. And I said to myself, I'll hold this little kind of a star for myself to be able to win the argument. Either it was a star amana. A star amana means that they had a star that he said, don't use the property because don't use the property from the date that we're making up to sell this property. On the smach that you trust me, that I'm buying this karka. So, but he has already about the sale with 2 items signed on it. So it's a star, but it's not the real star. Or he had the 2 items ready to come and testify and lie. That's what the Rashbam brings down. So therefore, he felt secure about this star. So Amar Rabba said, he could have easily lied and said this star is a good star, and he would have gotten away with it. Are you going to tell me if somebody says this star is Mezuyev, he has to be Mekayim it? We just said there was no problem. He had the 2 Edom in his pocket, or was a star Amana, where the Edom would testify to their signature. They themselves really signed it. So if he wanted, he could have said it's a good star. So therefore, we establish that the karka that he's sitting on with this star that he's saying is Mezuyev, will trust him because he has amigo. He could have said it's a good star. Ablei Rav Yosef says, Rav Yosef back, Amai Samacht, Samchas. And what are you relying on? To accept the time of the matzik. What's your thing? A high star on this star? High star chasma b'amu. This star is a piece of earthenware. It's nothing. Meaning it's amigo b'makamedim. You admitted that this star is not a star. So how I does say them? So it's like you have 100 Adim testifying against what you could have said that it was a good star. But what you're saying that this is a good star. Saying it's a good star is going against your Haidah, which is the 100 Adim testifying against you. And we already learned before, Migo B'Makamedim is not a Migo. Now, till now we spoke about Karka. Now we're going to speak of the exact same case, Benegayah to Mumminus. There was this person that said to his friend, give me back my 100 zuzim that I have given you, that I have lent you. And here's the star that you owe me the 100 zuz. So the Levi says, this star that you're coming to the Malva, you're holding on to a full star. So the Malva bent and whispered into the ears of Rabbah, yes, he said, it is a full star. I had really a good star, and I lost it. And like we're going to say before, that he had the item in his pocket, they were going to verify the signatures, say it's theirs, or was a shtar amana. It wasn't. No, that he could have verified that the signatures were real. The Edom would have testified that it's real. Va'amina, and I said to myself, I'll hold on to the shtar, which will be a little as a raya to my taina. He has taka amigo. If he wanted, he could have said shtar ma'alyahu, that this is really a good shtar, and he would have gotten away with it. So therefore, the Levites believed that he paid back the chayv. And what are you relying on? I'm sorry, that he owes the money. The Levi has to pay back the money. The Levi has to pay the money because the shtar is a real shtar. He could have said it's a real shtar. So believe him that he really had another shtar and he owes him the money. So the Levi owes him the money. What are you relying on? How could the Malva come and collect with such a shtar? A high shtar on this shtar. High shtar chasma b'amu. He was made. He was a day's baldin k'mei Edom dummy. It's like as if 100 Edom are testifying the shtar is no good, and you want to testify it's good. You want to say you could have said it's good. You couldn't. You were made. It's against 100 Edom. It's a migam emakam Edom. The halach is like Rabba by land, that the one sitting on the land with the shtar is going to be believed because he's the Musik. And the halach is like Rabbi Yosef, that the Levi who owes the money is believed, is a Musik, and the Malvo has a shtar, we're not going to trust him. The halach is like Rabbi by land, take him. We look, whoever is sitting on the karka, that's where it remains. The karka remains in that person's rishus. And since the machzik is in the rishus, even though his shtar is chaspa be'alma, but since he's a machzik, so it's upon the me'arev who wants to take away the field, and Allah is like Rabbi Yosef when it comes to money, that the malva is holding on to the shtar. The Levi has nothing, but the money is in his pocket. So the malva who wants to come with a shtar to collect, even though he has a shtar with amigo, we're not going to allow him to collect because the Levi is a musik and so the kaima zuzi, look me, wherever the money is sitting, that's where it remains. And where's the money right now? In the Levi's pocket. There was this Arev, I'm going to assume that's out of Kabbalah. He says to the Levi, give me 100 zuz, that I paid your malva for your chayv. It seems like the malva had a choice. He can go to either one to collect his money, whether to the Levi or to the Arev, because the Arev was an Arev Kabbalah. He took the achrayas, that he allowed him to come to him first. So the Arev says, I paid it. And here's the shtar that the malver pulled out against me, and I have the shtar. Now I have it against you. So the Levi says to the malver, haven't I paid you back the money? So the other says, yes, you paid me back, but didn't I lend you again? So, and over here, we want to say it's better than the case than before. It was sent before Abayat the same case. What's the din? And the shaila was, here is maybe not like the case of before, because here this is a real shtar. We're not dealing with a false shtar. This shtar is a real shtar. He says he paid back, the Levi paid back, but the Malva says, I lent you again the money. So I'm coming back with this same shtar that you owe me money. Or we're going to say no, once he pays back, so this whole shtar is really considered as a full shtar. You need a new shtar for a new chayv. Abaye sent to Rabbi Rabbi, what's your shaila? You said yourself that the Rabbi Rabbi had said himself, the halach is like Rabba by land. Whoever's a muksik in the land, it remains by him, and the Ma'ara has to bring a raya. And the Allah is like Rav Yosef Zuzi, and here it's a case of Zuzi, that the Levi is holding on to the money. The Malva has a star, but the star is really a chaspa b'alma. It's a suffix. If that star can be used a second time. So since it's a suffix, and you want to be mitzi from the mavzik, the loiva, wherever the money is right now, which is in the loiva's issues, so it remains there till the Malva brings a vagga keraya that he owes him the money. Because the loiva is not being masking that he owes him the money, that he borrowed a second time. Dr. Moni Bahani merely when these words said that we're not mezakeh the Arv with the money, that the Arv has to be improved, Amalei Hadas Aizafsino Minoi, that I lent you a second time. So he was made that this star is not, this star was paid up. He's made already. So that's when we said he cannot go and collect with the star. He's going to have to bring better rayas. But what if he says, I return right back the money that you gave me? Because the money was rubbed and worn out, and it was unusable, or it was very rusty. So it's like I never accepted the money from you to begin with. So therefore, I still have the shibud of the star against you, and that's the halacha. And the labor would have to pay him.